challenging and dreading. These are the words that I would describe if I were to compare primary school life with my teenage life. I had to go through a lot of hardship and misery. I have this mindset that as we grow older, people tend to be more mature. Therefore, the maturity that we have might help us overcome our problems. Sadly, now I realized that it does not only involve that aspect to conquer my problems. There are more that I have to learn. Getting second in the cohort and topping the class was something that people might think would be ideal. People would consider that I was born under a lucky star. But sadly, it was not as fortunate as it seems. Having the brain seemed so easy and obtainable at first, but it ended up as something that was bad and challenging to handle for me. What do I mean by that? Well, for the past 1 year in secondary school life, it has been tough tackling and tolerating with verbal bully. Being bullied verbally and given hurtful remarks, it was never a good experience. Entered as juniors in Canberra Secondary School last year, I sensed that it would be exciting to start a new journey as a teenager. Meeting new friends, studying more subjects, trying to fit in school, coping with both CCA and academics, life was well at first. Unfortunately, everything changed when my classmates started judging and criticizing me. Since I had aced my CA1 and SA1 examinations, some of my classmates started calling me nerd. They even spread a rumor that I cheated during the examinations. Additionally, they assumed that the teachers were all biased towards me. I was offended. What did I do to them? Why is this happening to me? Getting first in class, people gave bad impression. Not getting first in class, my parents would nag. The remarks they gave could somehow give a bad impression of me towards others. What happened if people do believe whatever they said? Where am I going to hide my face? I was depressed. I did not know that this was going to occur. All this while, I had never talked back. I just kept quiet when they bullied me. Not only that, people were taking advantage of me. Whenever they had doubts, I would be the first they would find. If not, there would be no communication at all. I never liked the feeling of being used. Thus, I was upset. Once, I had the intention to not perform well for my academics, so that people would not judge me and criticize me. Gladly, it never happened. My mother realized that I was facing problems. Therefore, she asked me what my problem was. At first, I did not want to tell her, but then I realized that it would be better to tell. Indeed, it was. I felt less worried. Not keeping everything to yourself and telling someone whom you trust about your problems might reduce the stress. So, do not keep everything to yourself. I was unaware that mother informed my form teacher, Madam Farah, about my problems secretly. As a result, Madam Farah called me during morning assembly and questioned me. I was shocked she knew what happened. I knew I could not escape. Therefore, I admitted and told her who was involved. The bullies were called and asked for explanation. It was to my great surprise that their reasons were somehow realistic. There was one that spoke that it was normal in his school. His friends did that to him too, and he thought that it would be acceptable if he were to do it to others. He did not know that the outcome might hurt others. Now, I realized that I should not be so sensitive. Madam Farah told me that I should not concern too much about the matter, as my classmates were just envious of my ability. Well, I realized that I must not take things too hard. It was never easy to handle with this problem. I had to overcome through all the negative remarks. Thus, this made me stronger. Eventually, I am aware that I should not be affected to what others said, because I know I am at the right path. Who they are depends on what they say. Who are they to judge me, right? I should just focus on doing well for my examinations because I can help others and it can assure a good future ahead of me. Besides that, another aspect that made my teenage life an arduous one was my family. It was only during teenage life I was aware about the real reasons behind my parents' arguments. I was able to understand the situation clearly because I was more mature. Lately, both my parents were involved in an argument. Father started it out first. He started nagging that mother was irresponsible. He concluded that mother had not done her work of keeping the house clean. Father is bad-tempered. He raised his voice most of the time. He showed his temper by throwing anything that is around him. It was the worst situation ever. Every time, it would always be the same old thing. It would always be about the cleanliness of the house. I do not know who to side with. Father really wants the house to be clean, shiny clean. He would start a scolding even if the house is least dirty. He did have a point. He had reminded mother to clean the house quite a number of times, yet mother does not really bother. In my opinion, mother did carry out her responsibility. She did clean up the house, but maybe it is not up to father's expectations. Every time, it would just be her being sad and keeping quiet. But that day, it was different. Tears were streaming down her face. She was upset. She could not take it anymore. I know that. I can feel it too. Daughter, who would you choose, mom or dad? Mother asked me. I only kept quiet. Tears welled up my eyes. This sentence always echoed in my ears. This sentence makes me weak and I cannot make up my mind. What will happen to me? Will my parents divorce? I cried hard because I do not want my nightmare to come. I want a happy family that will last forever. My academics were slightly affected by my family problems. It kept playing in my mind. I could not predict what my future will be then if my parents divorced. It was taking over my mind. This is the hardest time of my life. Everything seemed hard and I don't know what to do. As days passed, I realized that if I do not really care about the problem that much, I will feel much better. I must not let anything take over me. I must be able to be strong and overcome my problems. Crying does not help. Therefore, to reduce the stress, I decided to write a reflection and express my feelings. Expressing my feelings reduced my stress as days passed. I feel better each day. Not only that, this would ensure that you do not keep everything to yourself. You have expressed it out even if no one knew about it. I even became more hardworking in performing my responsibility as a child and the oldest sister. I told my two younger sisters that everything would be alright and tried to hide the sorrow in front of them. I would make sure that the matter would not affect them. I even decided to help clean the house with the help of my sisters. It is my responsibility to ensure that I have a happy family, despite being the oldest child. Now, I am more aware of my responsibility. Eventually, my parents were not quarreling anymore. It was such a relief. In a nutshell, I think secondary school life is the best time where we, as teenagers, learn to make mistakes and learning from it. Learning to overcome challenges and understand the benefits and hard work in it is what we had to be able to notice. Therefore, if we as teenagers encounter problems, we have to be able to cope with it and think it as something positive that will change one's mind, an ability to step up for a better life. Just do not forget to seek for help if you need a helping hand. Other than that, I do realize that getting older means that there will be more hurdles that I have to clear in life. Every problem, there will be a solution. It is just a matter of time. Your hardest time often leads to the greatest moments of your life. Just keep the faith. It will all be worth it in the end, even though it is just a little, because Trust me, there are a lot of milestones that I had experienced, and it gets better after each one. Remember that there is still a long way to go, and we have to be ready to overcome all the problems that will be faced. Also, to stand up back whenever we fall, like the saying, the race is not always to the swift, but to those who keep on running.